Hello and welcome to UK versus. I am back from Worlds and I am very tired. I have been editing since pretty much the moment I landed and got I've been editing since pretty much the moment I got back, and the news just keeps dropping. And I want to go on to talk about what I think is possibly the biggest news of the week, and that is on top of Chromes, which is a very weird thing to say. Because we've just had the Chromes, we've got a lot of the news dropping, but the big thing that's dropped this week, because I count Sunday as last week, but congratulations to Kevin Broberg and Travis for an amazingly played finals. We got news that UVS have teamed up with Fireside Games, and they're going to be putting a major spin on one of their most popular titles. And this is something that we're seeing UVS doing quite a bit now. We've seen a reskinning of Star Realms under Star Trek. We're now seeing Roll For It coming in, which I hope is going to have some very cool new skinning, because that is such a cool game. I've just dropped a video on that where I predict that we might see it under Critical Role. This one, Castle Panic, has been confirmed to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover. For those of you who are not aware what Castle Panic is, it is a tower defense strategic board game designed for up to 1 to 6 players, ideally 2 to 4, perfect for our turtles. It takes about 10 minutes to set up, about 60 minutes to play, and in the regular Castle Panic, you will set up your 6 towers with 6 walls around it, with 3 segmented coloured zones, all of which have their own rings. This is very important as we go into the gameplay, but unlike Roll For It, Castle Panic is a bit more complicated, so I will actually wait until I have more of the TMNT assets before I make her learn how to play. But the basic synopsis is there in Castle Panic, the game as is, you have a wave of monsters constantly coming in that are trying to get through your defenses, destroy your walls, and destroy your towers. You, as the players, will work cooperatively to stop the monsters breaking down your walls, taking out your towers, and there are some more competitive versions where you can score points, and it's very cool that you all have to work together. And the game is over when all the monsters are defeated and both monster decks are empty, or unfortunately the players lose their last tower. Doesn't matter how many walls are left, but if all the towers are gone, the players lose. This seems very cool. There's more special power-ups. Each player will draw cards and use those cards to defend the areas using these kind of segmented areas. So if you have a swordsman blue card, you can only use it in a swordsman blue. But what I want to talk about is how this works so well for TMNT. It has been a big thing throughout TMNT for Universes, the card game, what we will be adapting for this. And looking at Castle Panic, this could go one of two ways. This could be a Tales of the TMNT Bishop raid of robots, or it could be a Foot Clan raid. I really hope it's a Foot Clan raid, but let's start off with the Tales of the TMNT, or Mutant Mayhem as it is. Tales of the TMNT, which is where I believe Universes, the card game, will be going, is more about Bishop trying to separate the boys, capture them, take them out because she sees them as threats. This works here. You have New York as your castle, and you have the wave of the bots coming in with special leaders such as Goldfin and Bishop being the boss monsters and using their abilities to take them out, which works really, really well, is a more up-to-date IP, and works so well with the aspects of this because you can break this down into different regions of New York, and you can have it as a kind of tower or sewer defense where it's kind of an assault on the sewers, and you've got the four boys and Splinter just defending through there, with the special cards being for Splinter. Each of the areas can represent one of the boys, although there's only 3 zones, so that may be something they change. Make it an 8 zone game and have it so you've got one color for each of the boys. That might be something we see for a universe's kind of spin, but that is the kind of thing I'm expecting. Same with the more nostalgic Foot Clan aspect. You have an assault on the sewers, you have the boys and Splinter in their base, and you have the Foot Clan coming at them from different aspects of New York. The sewers being under New York means they can approach from any aspect, and you have to keep pushing them further away. And you get things like Bebop and Rocksteady. You get things like people like Prang and Shredder acting as the big boss monsters that have their own abilities. In things like in Castle Ruin, you have boulders which will go through until it hits a wall or a tower to take them down. In TMNT, we might end up with something like a sewer flood or like pizza discs or all these other cool ways that they can adapt it and bring it in and take the translation of this IP and take the translation of this game and mix it together. And this might be a direction for UVS to go, which is so very cool. Taking established IPs, working with other games, and mixing them together. But I don't think we're going to do that for long. But that is a theory for another time. I just want to come on here and give a brief overview, and I think it's going to be very cool. I think they got great ways that they can adapt this moving forward. How do we defend our case? How do we defend our castle? How do we defend our sewers? So every turn, more and more clan members, bots, monsters, mutants will get added to the city, and they will come at you. They will start moving towards the sewers. At the start of a player's turn, they will be dropped to their hand size. They can then review. For those who are not familiar with University, that's discarding card, drawing card, and then because this is a cooperative game, they can trade one card with another player if the other player is willing to trade. You cannot force a trade, but if it's your turn and you want to try and push through, you can go. I don't need this. You might be able to use it. Oh, I need. We need to deal with this now, and go from there. You then get to play as many cards as you can from your hand, and basically until you've run out of cards or all the monsters are defeated. After the player's turns are over, you move the monsters close to the ring and you draw 2 new monsters from the deck and add them to the board, where their position will be determined by the roll of the dice. This is a colored dice which will then also have numbers on it to indicate the zones. This is very, very powerful, and some of the cards will have special abilities, but the cards are very limited. So as I was talking about before, we have things like Knight and Ranger, so we may see things like Ninja or Reporter for that, or we might see things like Green Bronx. And then we have like the area around. So we've got Red Bronx, Green Bronx, Red Manhattan, Blue Manhattan, and go, cool, I've got a Red Manhattan, I pop it down, and I get to take out a bot, a mutant, a Foot Clan member in the Red Manhattan. You can also get bolstering defenses cards, which means you can add something to your wall, which means the first time it's attacked, that goes instead of the wall. Once a wall is taken down, they on the next turn around, the monsters can then move in, so the Foot Clan can get into your base and start taking your towers. There are cards to rebuild walls. There is nothing to rebuild towers. Once a tower is gone, it is gone, and once all your towers are gone, you lose. Where do I think UVS is going this? I think it's going to be set in New York. I think we're going to be defending the sewers. And I think it's going to be either a Tales of the TMNT or a Nostalgia Pump, where we, playing as the boys, aided by Splinter, are going to have to defend our home from this onslaught until they're all gone or we run out of pizza. Once it's all gone, we lose. And that is not very cowabunga. I think this is going to be very cool. It's another game I'm going to have to add to my wish list. And it's another game I'll definitely bring to regionals. Although with the 60-minute playtime, maybe a little bit harder. Roll for it and Star Trek Star Wars you can kind of smash out. But let me know what you think. Do you think, are you a Castle Ruin fan? Are you excited for this crossover? Would you like a more in depth how to play Castle Panic before TMNT drops? Or should I wait till I have the product in my hand, similar to when I did the Star Trek Star Realms, and I can talk about it a bit more because I've actually got my hands on it? Let me know in the comments below. And are you excited with the direction that UVS is taking it? It's not all about universes now. We're seeing them expand, we're seeing them go into different games, and I'm excited for this new direction. And I'm going to see if I can get a hold of someone to talk to us about this new direction. I want to see, I kind of want to know where this is going, if this is a long term plan, and what else could possibly be in the works if they can talk about it. What crossovers would you like to see? What games do you think UVS could make better with the IPs that they have access to? Let me know in the comments below, and please do subscribe and ring that notification bell to be kept up to date with all the UVS news that I can get my hands on. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.